So I had more than 2 hours of shooting light today. That was more than enough to do a little filming as well. Since my last visit I have modified this top here. And what I've done is I removed a very small amount of wood where my cheek contacts the rifle. And as you saw, that greatly helped reduce the vertical spread and the rifle is much more controllable. Make no mistake, this is a very lightweight rifle and shooting it is pretty much like a rifle rodeo. This bipod seems to work okay. On and off, no problem. 81 grams, doesn't seem to alter the impact. This is a very light rifle, so shooting it is kind of like a rifle rodeo. If I make any mistake in the position, it goes everywhere. So you really have to position yourself behind. You really have to hold the rifle properly. And you really have to have neutral pressure every way. If I don't, it goes anyway. This is a Carless 3.5 to 18 by 50. Maybe not ideal for a keeper out in the mountains, but I also intend to hunt raw. So what I've done is I've shaved off a very small amount of wood here to give a better cheek rest. Now it doesn't have a round shape anymore, it's more like an angle. It's very difficult to get that on the camera. That gives me a lot more consistent cheek pressure, so the rifle doesn't jump everywhere in the recoil. I'm nowhere near the recoil management I have with my R8, but it is significantly better than when I started. And the process for filing down the cheek rest is actually quite straightforward. Close the eyes, and when I have the contact I want, I'm supposed to open the eye dead center of the scope. So you just file and file and file in very small increments, and when it fits. So the moment I have contact now, I also have correct pressure, and that makes shooting a lot more consistent. That's a hit. Shooting over fences is a useful hunting skill, so I occasionally practice that. Now, in this episode, we're over in Sweden and we're hunting capercaillie with a 2-to-1 fireball. This is a true wilderness hunt. Hope you enjoy.
This episode contains sponsored items. Before you go, subscribe, like and comment. Click the bell if you want notifications of new episodes.
This is the yearly wilderness hunt that I do. And new of this year is that we are trying to bring some better audio quality into the trip. And hopefully we'll be able to tell a better story. Fingers crossed that the new backpack is going to perform as it's supposed to do. It will be kind of a disaster if it starts breaking down on this trip. Now the predicted weak points on the lid has started to give me some trouble. And I'm hoping there won't be any more. It's quite good. The harness is significantly better than my previous backpack. It doesn't constrict the chest and I'm breathing as I'm supposed to do. If you want long-term comfort on these trips, you need to be a bit disciplined. Walk very light, and when you stop, put on your insulation layer and then you shelter it. Now you see I'm not dressing or undressing, I'm just adding. Now see how I don't need to adjust my base layer? That's just a wool net and a windbreaker. And I'm putting the insulation on top of this, and I'm putting my waterproofs outside this again. So now I'm ready for the boat trip, where it will be cold and windy, and I'm not going to lose my. This is what's going to keep you dry, warm and safe, and you don't want to expose that to the environment and pollute it. So everything I need on a day-to-day basis or need quick access to is organized in the outer pockets. Top lid is going to be insulation. This is what I need immediately when I stop to rest. The next lid is going to be food. Anything technical is this pocket, which means repair tape, batteries, more line, and also ammunition. And if it's going to rain, you have the side pocket here. That's where I keep my rain gear. So roll it from the legs up to the waist. So when you pull it out, you just throw it out and you're ready to step into it. And if we move to the side pocket, this is where I'm going to have my water bottles and the cooking gear. So I don't really need to open the main compartment to keep myself fed and warm. And if I need shelter, that's going to be right underneath the lid. We're going to have the tarp. So again, from the top, insulation, food, technical. I have the rain gear, I have my cooking stuff. Should I need shelter, it's right underneath here. You remember the trick I showed you with the hook here? You just go up to the tree and just different types of ground, so different types of pegs. It's a very basic shelter, and if you can avoid it and carry something better, please do. But the tarp is a shelter you choose when you want weight to be low and there's not too many insects or wind and things like that, because I have miscalculated. This is my base layer. It's just a thin wool shirt. Over that I have my hybrid windbreaker. This one is from Arc'teryx, and I would say the insulation is approximately the equivalent of putting on a thicker wool sweater. This is good for camp chores and, you know, being slightly active, drinking coffee, that sort of thing, having short breaks or sitting in the boat. But when I go completely stationary like I do now, I need to start insulating. Thick wool, high quality down jacket, and I only use it for the base camp like this. I'm not using this at all when I'm active. Back with the shell, and instead of getting colder, I will now retain all the heat that I have. Nej, bort med där. Du dömer bort den vill jag inte ha. It's a wide mouth bottle, and you bring it into the bag at night so you don't have to get up and do your errands. It will save you a lot of heat.
Jag skulle ha ett par åsnäs utan stålkanter för jag med hundarna.
Ja.
Det var ganska svårt, och sen har jag även, jag kommer inte ihåg om jag bytte det vintras eller förra vintern. Jag har haft åsnäs rago tror jag på ripjakten, men jag inte gillar dem riktigt så jag bytte dem till ett par nansen.
Ja, nansen är väl det jag brukar.
Jag tycker det är en bra skida.
That's me ready to go off in the morning. Now today I'm just going to gun hard because with the wind we don't really have a very good chance of getting the birds treed. I'm only bringing the rifle, and I'm bringing my insulation and of course the camera kit. Okay, that's a bird treed. And we're just waiting for the barking to be stable, so we know that the bird will be there. So how long do you wait?
1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2 minutes.
If it holds for 2 minutes, it's gonna hold.
Okay. So if it holds for 2 minutes, that means the bird is not going to take off. And how would you say this is the terrain is to approach the bird in?
Sorry,
The difficulty level of this flat terrain with the trees?
Oh, it's not bad. There's a clear risk that a day that's windy like this one won't be as predictable as a normal day. I expect they might take off just from the wind. Slide up with that spruce, line up with the spruce and just go straight in. Undvika alla sidoförflyttningar. Male bird is there's a spruce there. He is hidden by the pine just left of the spruce. But he's in a fairly open position. You just slide into the opening there, but we'll have to be careful with that. Det kan vara lite för mycket kvist för att skjuta härifrån. Men följ mig kom fram till mig på exakt linje, gå inte ut här. Male bird. There was some branches in the way, so possibly the bullet may have done something. We'll see. But we'll get up there and save it from the dog. Oh ja, det är bra. Så tror jag. Det blir säkert det märks.
Okay, that's mission accomplished for me. The 2-1 fireball has taken down one of the big birds with great success. Now, I can see the safety zone, the bolt is closed, and I know he fired a shot and he's usually a very safe guy, so I can assume that this rifle is empty. But never assume. You open it, inspect it, and make sure. So I can't see any bullets, and I'm putting my little finger into the chamber. That's definitively an empty chamber. Okay, now I'm ready to move on. In many ways, this is a historical bird. It was shot with both the 2-1 fireball and the 6.5mm. So my shot went through the shoulder, into the neck, cut its air pipe, was stuck in a tree, and I was out of ammunition, and Ulf came and put it out. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Jag förstår inte varför han var inte säker ändå. Okay, this is Friday and the week is gone. Everything went stellar in the last couple of days. We really clinked in the birds as well. If there's one mistake I made, it was not bringing enough ammunition. I have more in the camp, but it should of course have been in my pocket. That would have netted a few more birds. But all in all, quite a good week. What's left now is packing all the gear again, having some food, and then starting the trek out. And maybe 6 hours, 7 hours, and we should be back at the cabin. This way I have a reasonably dry tarp and I haven't dragged it around the ground. I'm not poking holes in it, things like that. So this is it. Now I have the hook and I can reverse and unpack very easily. The camp is packed. I inspected the campground and the piss bottle. Never put that inside the backpack. Put it outside in the side pocket. The right hand side, dirty business. Now, I'm not a big fan of gear reviews because I think your needs is going to be what determines what gear is right for you. But if there is one luxury item I would recommend is these ski straps. Not having to deal with frozen ropes or tie fancy knots, just fold and put in place and you have a secure item and the same way when you want it off. It's a luxury item, but it makes life a lot easier in camp. Especially when it starts to rain and things start to freeze. So that was a full week out. And the carryout was 32.5 kilos. It's a fair distance going back here. And there's 3 caper calis on the meat shelf. People are going to ask me about equipment reviews and especially about the Kuyu and things like that. Please don't. I've been on one trip for 1 week and I carried some heavy stuff back at home.
Like and subscribe!
What I can tell you, however, is I'm not overly impressed with the meat shelf. Either I'm doing something wrong or the balance keeps shifting, and for some time there I was a bit worried it was going to fall off as I was going. Other things that I've already picked on is the buckles that I had to tape to function, and also a bit of this webbing. It's quite thin and slippery and there doesn't seem to be too much friction on the locks, so a lot of them keeps sliding up, which as a European customer is also something I can only address by fixing it myself. But other than that, if you look at volume, weight and the ability to organize and keep a tidy pack and have things accessible without compromising the stuff that's going to keep you dry and safe and let you sleep, It's very good. Another thing I'm not overly fond of, considering that this backpack is made for rifle hunters, doesn't seem to be any elegant way of strapping the rifle on. I'm having to make do, and this gypsy pack with the meat shelf on, it's not a very good backpack anymore because all of the zippers are blocked. I have to unstrap and put things on the ground if I want things accessed. I can get into my 2 top pouches, and if I snap open the rifle, I can get into the side pockets here, which I basically just use for rain gear. So all in all, pretty good job, but considering that they are marketed for rifle hunters, please improve the rifle carry system. Okay, that's me for the week. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Subscribe to the THLR channel by clicking the left logo icon, so you'll be shooting straighter than a drunk skunk before the sun shines over northern Norway.